Life can either build you or break you. It's what you do with your bricks that matters most. Good morning, everybody. This is Wake Up Well. My guest today is Erika Obando, a brand new author whose book, Without a Voice, A Woman's Journey to Resiliency, tells her story of going from broken child to empowered woman. She is a serial entrepreneur and an influential speaker who has spoken on the TEDx stage, and she is now an advocate for positivity and helping you get out of victim and become victorious. Good morning, Erika. It's so good to see you. I feel like it's been forever.
I know. Good morning to you too.
So congratulations, first of all, on your book. It's such an accomplishment to finish a book. Doesn't it feel like a big weight has been lifted off of you?
I feel like I had another child. Yes, definitely a weight off. It's been 3 years in the making. I cannot believe it took that long. But yeah, it's quite the undertaking. You know about this. You know about this life.
Yeah, I've done 4. I've given birth to 4. So I know, and it really does feel good to get it out in the world and to use your voice for good in the world. And I love what you had said to me about your book, that it's a manual, not a memoir. So explain that a little bit.
Well, listen, the book is called Without a Voice, A Woman's Journey to Resiliency. And the point of writing the book was to share my story. A lot of my speaking is based off of my story. However, the point of it was to become a manual for whoever's reading it. Whoever picks it up can actually read my story, which is the first half of it. But the other half of it is, what did I do with the things that happened to me in my life? Which I think is the important part. Sharing your story is great, but I want people to take something away from it rather than just reading a book and saying, wow, that was an intense story that I just read. I want people to grab and say, what an intense story, but I feel like I could use some of the tools that she used for my life.
Give us some broad strokes of what your story is. So you say you went from victim to victorious. So what happened to you in the beginning stages? And it started as a child, correct?
Right. So I first of all, I'm an immigrant. I came here when I was 5 years old from Colombia, and a lot of things came along with that, right? There's a lot of struggles and a lot of hardships that come with being an immigrant and coming here illegally to begin with. And so a lot of my story starts there. However, it also went into maybe possibly from the same hardships of starting a new life in a new country. I had a very traumatic and turbulent childhood. I came from a lot of abuse, both physical and verbal, and it shaped who I became. I have lived on my own since I was 14 for a multitude of reasons. I was kind of tired of being the victim of the story. And even at 14 years old, which is very early on in life, I decided I was going to change my own narrative and I was going to change my title. And I was going to go from victim to being victorious. And that's kind of where I lead the reader and the people that listen to my story throughout that journey.
How were you able to handle being 14 and on your own? Where did you go?
I think that a lot of times in life, you get a lot of people that come along the way to help you. And there's a reason why they come across your path. I had a girl that I had met through church at that time that knew about of a home that used to help women who weren't able to afford regular rent, and they needed some assistance. Either they were desolate or they had left their homes and they needed a place to stay without paying the regular rent. And so this place used to be called in Spanish is Hogar Nazaret, but it translates to the Nazareth home. And because of that, because of knowing of that place, I was able to go there, and they made an exception for me to live there with the consent of my father at that time.
We worked together at a company, and we did a special about Place of Hope, which is a agency that's very similar to what you're describing. So to me, that really explains why your heart was with it, like why you wanted to do it and be a part of it with me, because what they do is very similar. So it all comes full circle, right, in life.
Right, exactly. And the home, it literally became the base of how I build my structure, of how I built Erica. I mean, I went there when I was 14 years old, and it was run by nuns at that time. And so the nuns actually gave me what I needed in life. They gave me they taught me how to have a home, how to maintain a home, how to be family, things that I had never really been exposed to in that type of way. And so I owe it to the nuns that I'm able to have the family lifestyle I have today, both with myself as a person and then with my son, because I think that is so important that you don't inherit the tools that are handed to you by generations. Instead, you go out and get yourself a new toolbox and build your life with a new toolbox.
And then from there, where did you go?
You have to look at the book. The book will tell it all. I've gone through several events through my life that have been roller coaster rides, right? We all can relate to that, the roller coaster ride, where you make a decision and all of a sudden you take a dip, and then somehow you learn it from it, and then you rise back up. And I think that accepting that roller coaster ride is part of the process of being victorious. It's not thinking yourself, oh my God, why is this happening to me? As opposed to, wow, okay, this happened to me. Let me pick up where I left off. Let me learn from it and then grow from it.
What are some advice you would give to women right now who are coming from a similar background?
Actually, one of the very important things that I stress is that we go through life and we go through struggles and we go through things that happen to us. And people will hand us titles. Here, you are a victim because of that. Or you are a struggler, or you are never going to succeed. And then these titles are handed to us. And you know what we do? We grab those titles and we're like, okay, I'm going to carry it in my pocket. You told me I was a victim. I'm going to go ahead and become a victim. But my story and my message is, no, clear out your pockets of those titles. Nobody told you to put it in your pocket. If somebody called you a victim, analyze that and say, am I really a victim, or am I really strong from what I just learned or from what just happened to me and turned around and made something of it? Like, as opposed to it being something that hinders you, you turn around and put it on the ground and step on it to raise you, to elevate you.
It takes a lot of perspective, and it takes a journey to get to that place where you can get out of victimhood. What tools, though, did you use? Because obviously you don't just snap your fingers and say, okay, I'm not going to be a victim anymore. It really is a journey that you take, and it's the work that you do. So what sort of things came to you? Was it people? Was it therapy that got you to that place of, I know I need to change, and I know I need to get out of this place?
You hit it right on the money. You can't do it by yourself. A lot of people think that they are forced to do it by themselves, but you're not. If you really look around you, you have people that love you. You have people that are really sincerely want to help you and want to see you progress. You just have to let them come in. A lot of the things that I used at the beginning was, well, let me back it up a little bit. I had to hit my rock bottom. And again, you'll have to buy the book to understand what that rock bottom was. But I hit my rock bottom, and it was then that I was able to see that there were people out there that wanted to help me. One of them in particular was a therapist, a psychotherapist that I agreed to go to. And she was the one that really stabilized my emotional instability enough for me to say, okay, I understand that these things happen to me. Now I have to build myself from it. But I couldn't do it by myself. She helped me organize. I love it because I say this all the time. She gave me a virtual library that I was able to kind of visualize and grab all these experiences, bottle them up, take them out, dissect them, handle them, heal from them. That's the huge part of it. Heal from them, and then put them back in that clear jar and put them in on my virtual library. That's the important part. Not to say this didn't happen to me. No, it's about this happened to me. Come to terms with it and pick up the golden nuggets that are in that experience, and then put them on a shelf where it doesn't torment you. It's more of a reference point of who made you, right? So when you step back from that library and you look at it, that's what built you. That's what made you.
At some point, the spark or the light flickers and you start to recognize and understand your journey is not one of just you as a human, but there's a spiritual soul part of you. Did that kick in for you at any point on this journey?
It did. One of the chapters in my book is called "The Day God Answered," and it was not necessarily on a literal sense.
Yeah.
It was more of an awakening for me. I've had many adult temper tantrums, mostly sitting in my car hitting my steering wheel. And in one of those is when God decided to answer through my own thoughts. And it's having faith. It's having faith that we're not here by ourselves. And even when you feel alone, faith puts you through it. It's an unbelievable concept, because on a literal sense, because you've got to believe that there's something out there bigger than us, that there's a shield that takes care of us even through our hardships. Because again, our hardships are, in my opinion, are ways to learn. They're not a bad thing that happened to us. Even the hardest of hardships. I mean, when you guys hear my story or read my book or watch my TED Talk, you'll understand that a lot of things happened to me. But I now look at them as lessons that I was gifted so that it can make me the person that I am today. Am I perfect? Far from it. But I feel that the lessons I've picked up throughout my life have helped me get to where I am today, have helped me to help others.
I liken it to building a house. If you build a house with just, twigs and branches, the chances of it being blown down are much higher. But if you build it brick by brick, right, and the bricks are much heavier than the twigs, but if you build it up, then you will have a strong foundation. So honor your bricks, love some of your bricks, even if they were bricks that were thrown at you or that maybe you threw at somebody else. It's really all about being strong, and standing in that faith is how you get strong. So you and I are on the same page. We both, by the way, love Wayne Dyer, the late Wayne Dyer. He
I
was
told
a big
you
part
that
of
I met him in person and I had dinner with him. It was one of the most amazing, divine appointments.
Yes, absolutely. The people that you need are there when you need them, whether it's in person, whether it's through a book or a meme or any of those things that we find in the world. It's always for a reason. So notice them. Please notice them. Everybody, notice your signs and your messages. Tell me about the title of the book, Without a Voice. What does that mean to you? Why would you say you didn't have a voice?
Throughout my life, as a child that went through a lot of traumatic experiences, as a young adult, as a teenager, I felt that I didn't have a voice. I felt like everything that was happening to me was by the doing of others. And I didn't have an opportunity to voice out, hey, I don't want to be part of this. Or no, I don't want to go there. I didn't have a voice to voice out when I was younger. And so the irony of my life is that here I am, a speaker, and sharing my story and voicing out my experiences. And so I feel like I was without a voice, and my book is giving me a voice, but it's not mine. It's a voice that I use to translate the events of my life, but it's a voice, a unanimous voice. It's a voice that I help others find. It's a voice that a woman who picks up the book and reads it says, wow, if she could, maybe I can.
Have you found that healing? Have you found that forgiveness for your family?
Another chapter in my book. The power of forgiveness. Yes. Look, I'm still working on it. I feel that it's you're never done working on yourself. I think that I have found forgiveness in a lot of levels. I had to turn around as an adult and forgive the people that hurt me along the way or that wronged me along the way. And here's a nugget that I want to share. In forgiving, it doesn't necessarily mean, hey, I'm going to be lovey-dovey with that person. Yeah. It could very well be a faraway forgiveness and wishing them well and letting that go. We carry these rocks on our shoulders with this with this hatred, this pain, and all this stuff. It's like a book bag that you grab and you're like, okay, I'm going to carry this around for the rest of my life. And it's full of all this animosity and hate and pain. But part of the forgiveness is opening up that bag, taking out all those ill feelings and that are assigned to people that came across your life, and forgiving them. The forgiveness is
For you.
for you. And then letting go of all those rocks in your bag. But yeah, forgiveness is something that I work on a daily basis, because sometimes we get caught up in it, right? We forget all of what we've learned, and then you're undoing yourself and you're like, no, we've got to get back on it. So I have forgiven a lot of people in my life. I've definitely forgiven my family, and I wish them well always, and I pray for them. But some of them I've opted to just love from afar.
And that's fine. What I've learned through my own books is that it's okay. You don't have to be in somebody's life. You just have to hold space for them, recognize and understand that their journey has its own lessons to learn.
Understanding that broken people break other people.
And they have to find their own resiliency, but it doesn't mean that we have to have them in our lives. And energetically, it's just you're disconnected energetically as well. So there's a law of the universe that says you cannot be with that person because you are energetically disconnected. You're in a different place, and maybe they haven't, healed themselves, and you have gone on that healer's journey that we're all here taking. So it's a beautiful book. I'm so proud of you. I know it was a lot of hard work to find it. So let's tell people where to get it.
They can go to my website, erikaobando.com, and then you'll have prompts to buy it from either directly from me, and you get an autograph from that, or you can buy it worldwide. Actually, it'll be available in different distributors around the world.
So it's available on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles and all that, those places online as well. So I hope that people will pick it up. I hope that they will learn from it. I hope they will recognize and understand that those bricks that you end up having in your life are to help you get strong and build your foundation. And so I wish you all the luck in the world with it. And I know you're going to be out there inspiring women, as you have from, when you did your TED Talk and to all of your speaking engagements. And so it's a blessing that you turned it into what you did. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. And on that note, if you want a sneak peek preview of what's contained in the book, I did the TED Talk, and the TED Talk is called When Breaking Points Lead to Empowerment. And the book is just a deeper dive into my story. But if you want a sneak peek, you can get it from there.
Where can you find that TEDx?
You can find it on YouTube. TEDx Talks has it available. So if you Google my name, it'll be available.
Thank you. Amazing story. And I love you to pieces. Mwah.
Thank you. Mwah. Same.
And thank you, everybody, for tuning in again to Wake Up Well. I will be back here next week at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Take care, everybody.